In the name of God the Almighty, peace to you. Today I will speak about nuclear energy, nuclear power, and what is good of it for the human civilization and what's not, and what are the signs given to us by heavens that we should not acquire uh, such energy in a way or another. First of all, the nuclear power as we know it in our civilization mostly have been based on splitting atoms and trying to get the maximum energy possible from the splitting of these two atoms, and I mean the atom in two, and keep splitting the atom into more and more minor components. So we have been using our knowledge of the nuclear power or nuclear energy into destructive uh, uh, products like weapons, or even when we come to use it for a peaceful reason, or like generating electricity or something, we are using also the same method, which is uh, uh, what they call nuclear fission or nuclear decay, which in both cases it's a kind of destructive scenario. And that's why it's very heavily radioactive and very heavily destructive. So what does that mean for anyone who knows a little bit about science? When we work into destroying something or splitting something or getting from a whole to minor components, mini components, whatever you want to call it, we are using some kind of, yeah, it's easier to have nuclear fission than to have nuclear fusion. So it's easier, it gives faster result, but it's more harmful, it's more destructive, and that's why we have been trying to get to improve our nuclear energy, but we fail big time so far. First of all, we uh, pursue the how to make a nuclear weapon, the nuclear bombs of the World War II, and since then the race between the Soviet Union and the United States of America have been clear for the countries that are resourceful in uranium and plutonium. Uh, uh, actually, the West have some, you know, uh, normal or natural resources in Australia and Canada of uranium and such things. But in the previous Soviet Union, it was mainly in Kazakhstan. And however, Afghanistan, there are plenty of uranium mines to be digged there, and that's why have been the conflict there between the Soviet Union in the 90s and Americas when they supported when the CIA supported the Islamists there in order to create some kind of jihadi war against the Soviet Union, and then the Soviet Union collapsed, and now the United States of America and the NATO allies are trying to get the upper hand there, while Iran and Russia are supporting the Taliban and such organizations. So it's nothing about teaching women or human rights or whatever, or democracy or spreading democracy. It's all about power. It's all about resources. So we have to understand that I don't want to go into politics now because the main topic is where we are in pursuing our nuclear energy and our nuclear products. Mainly, as I said, we have 90% of our nuclear productivity is going to harmful products such as weapons and you know industrial things that are harmful to the ecosystem, while just hardly 10% of the nuclear power today is used for producing electricity, and even that, it's not safe. They are radioactive. They cause high amount of radioactivity if any problem get through. Me as a journalist, I have attended a couple of conferences about nuclear power, and the last one was in 2010 in Paris. And at that time, the many governments were very enthusiastic about the future because nuclear energy is less polluting for the air than the other kind of fuel. I mean, nuclear fuel is less harmful than fossil fuel and all the things. However, the problem in the nuclear energy is, as I said earlier in the video, we are just focusing too much on what's easy, on what gives us more time, and get the end products in shorter time, and that's why we are still working with on producing our energy based on the rules of the nuclear fission and nuclear decay instead of nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion, there are still attempts to get it off the floor, but as I said, because it's constructive kind of way, it's less radioactive. Because it's good, it's more difficult. Because as I said earlier, the products of the fission and the decay are more destructive and more radioactive, so they are harmful. That means we have been during the 20th century learning this knowledge from the wrong teachers, from the shadow. The shadow teachers who are going to give us anything that could destroy us. While if we want to take information and knowledge from the source, the true source, the truth, which everything to be built to give life, and instead of take it to construct instead of this destruction. All these things require more time, require more effort, and unfortunately, the last scientist who gave humanity all his time, all his life, without looking for money, without looking for any kind of benefit, was Nikola Tesla, who gave us all the secrets of the electricity, electromagnetic fields, and he set the base for the wireless connections we have today, and all the things. And since Tesla, we had nothing. We had zero real scientists. We have now scientists who either work for a Nobel Prize or for money and for making deals with big corporations in order to get money out of people's pockets. So Nikola Tesla was the great scientist around, and since then we have been, as I said, ruled by people of knowledge who are seeking fame or wealth, and that's why as far as up to now, the nuclear fusion as a basic for nuclear power hasn't been going anywhere, and so we are stuck with the problem of the nuclear fission and nuclear decay and whatever radioactive waste they leave behind, and the governments, the big governments like the United States, are throwing these radioactive uh, waste either in areas inside the states, or in countries like Kazakhstan, or in the big Grand Trench in the Pacific. Um, there they have some kind of islands under the American rule, so they I think I can't recall now the names of the two islands, but I think they launched from there, from a base there, the attack on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in World War II. So there so the waste of the radioactive waste is just a bomb under us, under our feet, that's waiting to explode in our faces sometime in the future. So we are playing with fire, and as I said, in 2000 and in the first mandate of Barack Obama, the governments worldwide was very enthusiastic about the nuclear power, and that could be friendlier to the ecosystem than the other things. And all of a sudden, the Fukushima earthquake caused the disaster there in the nuclear reactor there. And since then there are leaks of radioactive materials into the uh, ocean, and definitely the fish population is having big problem, and everything that's connect the Japanese water to up to the American water from the other side is going to be polluted. And so at that moment, they all of a sudden, all governments seized or reduced their interest in looking for more nuclear power for peaceful ends. However, the disarmament agreements about getting rid of nuclear weapons still, as I said, is going nowhere. Uh, with Russia pulling out sometimes, and America depends on its presidents pulling out the other time, and we are still uh, at the same place. We didn't move too much since the collapse of the Soviet Union, and as I said, we have to uh, understand better how nuclear fusion works, and more effort should be put there. But where are the scientists who are researchers who are really hoping from their heart to give something good for humanity, instead of just making a name for themselves, or to get result during their lifetimes? And so everybody wants everything quick. They don't want to put time, they don't want to put effort, and the governments also like the easy thing, and everybody love it quick. They want more money, they want more power, and any way they could, and that's why it's not working. We have been taught since 20th century by the wrong teachers, and it's still going on. So it's clear, the message from heaven is clear with the Chernobyl disaster and the Fukushima disaster, that God is not going to allow us to have more and more nuclear power, based on nuclear fission and all these destructive methods, and all these high radioactive products. So we have to have an alternative way, and any alternative way, any good way needs time. But as I said, once it achieved, it will go for centuries to come. Uh, And if you don't believe me, you can look at Tesla work and what happened after Tesla. When we look around us today, everything we have from electricity to wireless internet connection and all these things, they are all based on Nikola Tesla. But where is the Tesla of today? So that's it from me today. So it's clear for me that God is not blessing all these nuclear research the way it has been going since the 20th century. Of course, he doesn't approve nuclear weapons. He doesn't approve any weapon of any sort or shape or form. As I said, we may have some a good surprise from him if he finds some honest scientist to give him knowledge about how to make nuclear power out of nuclear fusion and to do it in a constructive way with no radioactive percentage that's harmful to ecosystem and something like that. So we have, if we ever have hope to use something useful with the nuclear energy, we have to wait for something to come from the nuclear fusion method, not from the nuclear fission method and nuclear decay and all these things. So that's it from me today. Uh, of course, I'm not going to go into the subjects and details, and I'm not going to give full definition of what nuclear energy and nuclear power, but the people who are involved know what I'm talking about. That's it from me today. Have a nice day.